Bonjour, mon petit chauffeur, Amber here, and it is October, so I'm here to recap all the books that I read throughout September. Last month, I guess, because it's October now, I read 3 books, which is the most I've read in a month in a very long time. The first book I read was Black Dove, White Raven by Elizabeth Lean. Amelia and Teo, or Tio, are the children of Black Dove, White Raven, aka Rhoda and Delia. They are a pair of female stunt pilots. Let's put this book down. When Tio's mother is killed after a bird strike, Rhoda, Amelia's mother, adopts him and moves them to Ethiopia, where Tio will keep calling him Tio and Teo interchangeably throughout this whole thing, will not be plagued by racism the racism that's going on in America. He is black and Amelia and her mother are white. He and Amelia then become White Raven, Black Dove and White, yeah, that's right. Black Dove and White Raven, weaving stories out of adventures that they come up with to entertain themselves. While Ethiopia was Delia's dream, she never anticipated the war that would affect them all and alter their lives. The story was good. It wasn't phenomenal, but it was good. I haven't read any other Elizabeth Lean books. I don't know how to compare it to any of her other works. I found it very, very slow and kind of uneventful for a majority of the book. I guess she was really trying to paint a vivid picture of pre-World War II Ethiopia. That being said, I really do like the setting. I've read a lot of World War II historical fiction in my time, but never really any books that took place outside of Europe. And I honestly don't really remember learning a lot about Ethiopia during that time period or how that played into World War II. So I really love the history of the book. The history that's intertwined with the book. Okay. Another thought while reading the book, I got the feeling that the connection between Rhoda and Delia was a little stronger than just besties, especially considering her relationship with Rhoda's relationship with Amelia's father, but I could be wrong and just reading too much into it, but that's just beyond the point. That's just a thought that I had while reading it. I really feel like the book didn't actually start until the last few chapters of the book, and I felt like I definitely had to reread paragraphs a lot, like almost like my brain was on autopilot and I was just skimming through the book. So maybe I just need to reread it and then I'll hopefully be able to form a better judgment on it. So next I read a book by an author that I simultaneously love and want to punch in the face. I read The Eye of Mines by James Dashner. I love the Maze Runner books so much, so of course I'm gonna read his other series. Michael is a gamer in a world where people spend most of their lives immersed in virtual reality. I always hold the books up for such a long time. He and his 2 best friends are recruited to track down Kane, who is a virtual, I guess, terrorist. He's holding people in the VertNet hostage, kidnapping their aura, which is kind of like their character, kind of like an avatar essentially, and leaving their real bodies in comas and vegetative states. Michael is given 3 words: the mortality doctrine, and whatever that plan is, now he has to, I guess, essentially stop it. He's the key to stopping it somehow. First off, what kind of artificial intelligence Haley Joel Osment? So, let me just backtrack for a second. I figured that I would love this book. It's Dashner, obviously. I love the Maze Runners. Maze Runners? I love the Maze Runners series. I'm always a little cautious with multiple series by the same author. I'm always ready to compare them, but that being said, there's nothing, this series or this book, I haven't read the rest of the series yet, is nothing like the Maze Runner. From the first page, this was an insane ride. That's one thing I really love about James Dashner's writing style. He doesn't waste too much time building up a story. He just kind of throws you right in head first and you just go with it. I mean, like the Maze Runner, I spent a lot of the book like, what's happening? WTF, what? And much like the Maze Runner books, as soon as I thought I knew where the book was going and that I had started to sort out the book, it just went, nope. In the ending, I will reiterate, what kind of artificial intelligence Haley Joel Osment mess did I just read? Where did that even come from? I need to get the rest of these books. But I have learned I refuse to get attached to anyone in this whole series. Obviously, you can tell I love this book. It's crazy. Maze Runner is still number one, but despite what anyone else is saying, like on Goodreads and stuff, I'm very much here for the Mortality Doctrine series. The last book I read this month, I just finished it a few days ago, is the book I was looking most forward to. Another author that I love so much, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited to talk about this book. It's I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson. First of all, this cover. As you know, or should, hopefully, if you're subscribed, if not subscribed, and then watch my review of her first book, Jandy's first book, The Sky is Everywhere. That book is one of my favorites of all time. It's beautiful. Anyway, this story is the story of Noah and Jude, one word. They are twins who were once inseparable, more one than two. Now they have been torn apart by jealousy and betrayal, by secrets, by loss. Each twin has a half of the story to tell. It's told in dueling points of view. Noah tells the first half when they were 13 to 14. He is completely consumed by art. He's falling in love with Brian, the next door neighbor boy who's obsessed with space and baseball. He's preparing to apply to art school, which is somewhere he will finally fit in. Meanwhile, at the same time, Jude is this daredevil wild child that is doing everything. She just wants her mom's love and attention and will do just about anything to get it. Jude tells the second half of the story when they are 16. She is in art school and dealing with ghosts of her past, literally and figuratively. She and Noah are practically strangers at this point. It's like their personalities have completely flipped and they are now each other. She meets Oscar, who is trouble. He somehow gets through her walls. She also meets Guillermo, who is more tied to her than she could possibly imagine. It's ultimately the story of the twins finding their way back to each other. Much like The Sky is Everywhere, it's the story of family. I went into this book with high hopes. Like I said, The Sky is Everywhere, Jandy's first book, is one of my favorites ever. It's one of the best books I've ever read, and I was not at all disappointed with this book. What I really love about Jandy's writing is the very fun, quirky, eccentric, artsy worlds that she throws us into. I really love the dual point POVs. I like the idea of the twins being separate and being two separate characters, but in a way that they're still completely intertwined. Does that make sense? I became so emotionally invested and attached to these characters, to Noah and Jude, and their world. They're such beautifully flawed and complex humans. Yes, I know I said humans as if they are real people, but let me live. And like I said, I love how colorful this world is. It's like as if I could actually see it as if it were a painting, which is, I guess, probably kind of the point. What I loved so much about The Sky is Everywhere is how the importance of music and words. Well, in this one, it's art, but it's like in a way that's completely believable. Anyway, the book itself is art. I could honestly go on and on about this book. Oh, hold on. Okay. There, on page 211, Jude is talking to her grandmother, and she literally goes, this is just a weird thing, she's talking about Oscar. He has two different color eyes, and her grandmother goes, David Bowie has two different color eyes. And I'm saying this because it's really weird to me. When I read this line, my brain automatically read it in past tense, like had two different color eyes, but my brain also registered that I read that wrong. Then I went back, like, why is she saying has? And I realized, yeah, When this book came out in 2014, David Bowie was still alive, and that's, 2014, really depressing to me. I got really sad. And then there's a scene towards the end with Brian and Noah, and then while I'm reading this book, Talk Me Down by Troye Sivan came on, and I actually started crying. Those are the books I read this month. I had a really good reading month, I think, and I'm quite excited to go into November. This is the part where I usually tell you my TBR list, and my TBR is not set in stone. What I want to do for October is either order or go to the bookstore and get a horror book or two for Halloween time. I'm thinking that I'm going to finally finish reading Misery. Stephen King, obviously, is one of my favorite movies. Yeah, I started reading this a while ago. I never finished it, so I might start that over. But what I'm definitely reading, I've already started the first book. I'm rereading. Hold on, let me put the sleeve back on. I am rereading The Wrath of the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh, which we all know I love so much. If you don't know, this is the book. It's a retelling of 1001 Nights, and I love it so much, and I'm rereading it so that I can go and finally read The Rose and the Dagger, get back to my fictional boyfriend, love of my life, Khalid, the Caliph of Khorasan. What was that? But yeah, this is what I definitely know for sure that I'm reading. So I will keep you posted. If you want to keep track of what I'm reading, just follow my Instagram. You can follow my main Instagram or my Instagram that I made specifically for my YouTube channel. I post a lot of TBRs and just let you know what's happening in the tube world. I'll leave the link down there. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you like me, feel free to subscribe. All my places are in there. Follow me, I'll follow you back, and we can be buds. And I'll see you very soon. Bye. Right. This book is about Michael. Michael, in this book, wow. Ooh.